This is a video about the Quran, and the other one had some technical difficulties, so you couldn't hear me talk, and would wait long amount of time between scenes. So this is the Quran Mus'haf, a book form of the Quran, which was given to me as a gift by my father, and it means a lot to me for different reasons. I don't know, why he gave me this particular one, but I really I'm grateful that I did, because it has a lot of things that interest me. And so the first thing that interested me were these Star of Davids that you can see in the cover, also known as a hexagram. So I like when those symbols we associate with a certain religion, Judaism, become associated or used with other religions like Islam. And that is, I follow a blog that's called the Star of David blog by Zev Barkan. And so this could be a good example of that. Udi Ofer, someone a scholar or expert on the topic of the origin of the Star of David, teaches that it is the lily. And so this is a lily, and it has a floral pattern around it, which is similar to what sort of goes, same theme. Don't judge a book by its cover. This is not about flowers, or there are some flowers, and there is things pertaining to Judaism that are some criticism of it, because that was Judah was a person and a tribe and a place during the time of the Prophet Muhammad. He it was Judea, which had been occupied by Rome, and that was the center of the religion. That's where all the religious books were made. That's where things had been developed. Jesus was a Judean. He lived in Judea. He's a Nazarene. So that term, in ancient times was more of became a geographical term, and then now in modern times we refer to that as a specific faith. So the type of criticisms that are in here are usually, they don't have to do with a different people, because they're all very similar people. That's why I believe Hebrew and Arab are the same thing. The word Hebrew, I was taught by a Jewish rabbi online, that it means traveling, crossing over from one place to the other, crossing over from the Tigris-Euphrates river system over to the Nile. That includes a lot of people, different people groups. And the word Arab in Hebrew means west, and it can also mean nomad. And so in Arab too, that can mean similar things. It can also mean a person who's fluent in the language, because that was the language they spoke. And so there's many meanings of words, and it takes time to study them because they can't be properly translated into English. And so the criticisms, they're coming from a place where these are similar people. These are people that come from the same place, that believe the same things, Yet their mentality, their religion, their deen is different. And so um, and so that's where the criticisms are. Um, and But then one of the things that really got me into the Quran was searching for the positive things, which many people don't know that there are positive things. It's not all criticism. And so those positive things are many, and you can search up a list. If you search Joseph, Islam, um, Judaism in the Quran, you can find it on his forum or on his Facebook page. And so yeah, it's a very it also has positive things to say about Christian people, even though it also criticizes Christian people. And so reading it at first could, it's difficult to understand, and there's a lot of things when I read this book, I struggle with it sometimes. I don't always like it. Yet I find things that are so profound in it that I know this is ancient. And then I have faith that this is sacred. Because there's things in here that are really special. This is a book form of a recitation. So this is not like the Bible where it's just a book, always been a book. This is recited by people. So this is something. This is the holy recitation, and this is something that is recited by people, preserved by people, and it's got a lot of ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom from Mesopotamia, from Kemet, from ancient Egypt, and yet it was the newest revelation. It was made 600 years after the life of Jesus, and it contains a memory of Jesus Christ. They also believe in Jesus Christ. It's Isa al-Masih. So it's like similar to the word Isaiah, or the name Isaiah, or the name Yeshu in Hebrew or Aramaic, Isa. And al-Masih is the Messiah. That's what Christ means, the anointed one. And what's really special about this book is that this book belongs to a community of people that follow another Messiah after Jesus. And that's why it's not accepted by the broader community of believers, because it's considered heretical to believe in another Messiah. Yet, I don't know personally, I don't have faith in the Messiahs of the Ahmadiyya community. Per se, I find it admirable what they seek to do. From what I've read, they sought to unite the world's religions under Islam, which is very similar to the sort of the beliefs I have. And yet I really, I find Jesus to be a really important person, and focus more on him. Yet I don't believe that he's the only Messiah. I believe the word anointed referred to the anointment of priests of Aaron, that it was originally the word that was used to... I'm just filming this book and talking about it without getting into it. So, anointment goes way back. It's been around, and so people who do good things, they're the anointed ones. I believe, if you follow Jesus, you're anointed, and that's what it means to be a Christian and a believer. And Jesus was a Muslim. That's why he didn't go to war. And so this was translated by Malawi Shad Ali. I got this from a store. I'll use these as bookmarks, and it's good to practice the translations, things like that. And now you'll see that this one's a little bit different. Yet I like that because I like studying books and things, and it helps that to find something that's different. So one of the things that I observed in here is that Surah Al-Insan, I'm not seeing it. And that's interesting to me. The foreword, and this is helpful. This is it teaches you the pronunciation of every letter, as well as the vowels, the diacritics, and there are specific names for those things that I can't remember right now. And this is information about how to read, how to recite. And so this, some of these quotes that are in these bubbles, they're pauses, like they're being Surah Al-Fatiha. The recitation that I wanted to share is one that I learned about because someone on Discord had criticized it because of a verse calling people creatures, the worst of creatures. And it was this verse that, it was this chapter that influenced me to find a connection with the Bible, and later eventually found a connection with the Torah. And it really, it makes everything clear for me that this is a holy book, and I'd like to share my interpretation on it, given what I've learned from people. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And that's how, in this Qur'an, that's how all the surahs start. So the numbers of the Qur'an are going to be a little bit different from your other Qur'an, Mus'haf. That's something important if you ever have a book like this and you're sharing specific verses. It's usually one number off. And someone taught me that the reason why people say that is because we don't want to have, we want to ask, we want God's mercy when we talk about God. And so this is God is an eternal being, and it is all powerful. So we want to fear God, and this the Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim to me teaches that Muhammad was preaching, was reciting this ancient wisdom of monotheism in a subtle way, so that we would know and mercy. Here's what it says: gracious, the merciful. The way I interpret this is the merciful, most merciful. And that is one of the translations out there. And it's, mercy has to do with punishment. God is all powerful. God is one. So God sustains us and keeps us alive. It sustains this world. It created it. Yet God is the one to oppose us, and if we do the wrong thing, even when we don't do the wrong thing, we can be opposed. And so that's sort of the mystery and the struggle that a lot of these religious books talk about, like in the narrative of Job, or Iyub in Arabic. So I'm going to read this in English. Those who disbelieve from among the people of the book and the idolaters would not desist from disbelief until there came to them clear evidence. And one of the things here that, again, it shows is that the recitation of Muhammad would say things in pairs. So here we have Ahl al-Kitab wa al-Mushrikun. And from what I've learned, this word means Mushrikun. It means those, the M is an adjective form, and so it says those who associate. So Sharak, there's an organization actually out there that's seeks to make peace between the people of the Arab world and the state of Israel, and it's called Sharaka, because that word it means association, partners. In that situation is being used as in a positive connotation. You'll see that too in the Qur'an. The word kafir will be used in a positive or sort of neutral situation when describing a flower, yet it is mostly used in a negative connotation because it means to cover up. And so it's people covering up the signs of God, because God is everywhere. God is manifest. The disbelievers in the Quran are the people who are covering up and sort of denying what is obvious. And mercy, that's why mercy is so important too. We don't want to fight people about it and leave them with a bad feeling about it. And God forgives too. So that is one of the things that John the Baptist and Jesus Christ both taught, and so many others. Muhammad recited that very often. And what's unique about this recitation, this is the recitation of the Prophet Muhammad. It's not similar to the other books where you had scribes that were writing down things that were quoted from other people or narratives about other people. This is it's recorded that it took 23 years to recite. And so here, these two words here, Ahl al-Kitab wa al-Mushrikeen, they're referring to, there are two words. So I learned that that's called a couplet, and it's poetry. It's poetic, but this is not like poetry. There's a verse about that it's not just simply entertainment. It's not just simply art. There's something deeper about it. And Ahel is an interesting word because, as you can see at the very beginning, let's go to the third surah. This is Ali Imran. This is the family of Imran. And you notice here is one of the differences. There's different symbols. Usually this symbol that's on top of the aleph is flat. And usually the symbol that's on top of the mim is a circle. But in this Qur'an Mus'haf, it's like a crescent moon. And so the symbol on top is usually flat and it's squiggly, and it tells you to pronounce that letter longer, like the aleph, or more, and then the mim is without a vowel, and that's called a sukun. And if you look at online, you can find other Qur'an Mus'haf and the different variations. It's interesting details. And so here we have, that means family with a long sound, right? And then now this means Ahel with an H in the middle. It means people. And people, I've learned from Joseph Islam that it means the Al-Kitab doesn't just mean doesn't just mean a book, it means a record. So sometimes this Quran is referred to as a kitab, and it seems like a contradiction because it wasn't recited before it was made into a book. Yet when studying this word in all the places that it occurs, you find that it means a record as well. In Judaism, they have the Tanakh, which is the Hebrew and Aramaic Bible, and the Cha and the acronym Tanakh is Chetuvim. So that's a similar word. And so what I see here is a pattern of two. There's always a pattern of two things that are being compared and contrasted. And but God is one. And so these are signs that the Prophet Muhammad was teaching something ancient, which is well preserved in the Torah. If you study the Torah, the first 5 books of the Torah, you'll see that the word Satan doesn't appear as a distinct character or that's separate, like maybe in the book of Job. Um, it it is used as a verb, so that means to oppose, and so this is the oppositional force. This is something ancient. This is from Kemet. This is from the allegory of Asar and Ast, taught by Baba Haru. This is describing the oppositional force in the world, which is what destroys us. It's not a, in the Muhammad recites in the Quran that that it's a foe to mankind. It's not. I believe that there's a deeper meaning to the original allegory of Asar and Ast, where there was a balanced perspective where it taught also philosophical ideas behind logic, and where the siblings Set and Nebuchadnezzar represented division and synthesis. And so, yes, yet it and the narrative, Set in the allegory, Set kills his brother Asar and chops him up into 14 pieces, and that represents the constellation Orion, and so this is an ancient narrative that was teaching about that violence was wrong, that this is why the Sahara became a desert, why we suffer, and ultimately to control ourselves, because we're what Baba Haru teaches, what I learned thanks to friends, is that Heru, which was this concept that represented, the observer, was the child of this celestial mother and celestial father, Asar and Ast, not Set and Nebuchadnezzar. So really the focus is on Asar and Ast, what sort of characteristics they had, and these are allegories and narratives that became religions, and so it deviated from its origin, and so now tomorrow is on the current Hijri calendar, the Islamic calendar. It's the 10th day of Muharram, which is called Ashura, and it is said to be the day when people remember of a couple things, but people remember primarily the escape of the sons of Israel with Moses to from Pharaoh, from the Egyptian government, is what I believe it is, and so Kemet is the proper name of Egypt, is one of the indigenous names of Egypt, and it's so amazing that these are the books where these are the records that we had for so long. It wasn't until Napoleon and Champollion and all these people started excavating and looking into this, that the Kemet became known to. Well, they didn't even know it was called Kemet until I think recently, but yeah, people didn't know about ancient Egypt. It was the Torah, the the Gospels, and mostly the Torah and the Quran, more than the Gospels. So, so this is teaching that God is one, and that teaching is an ancient teaching that is uh, found in many different religions, and yet so many religions lose sight of that. And so I suffered from that because I thought I'd sold my soul to the devil, and I had, and was scared of all these things happening in my life, and and that's how I got into this journey of trying to understand where did these ideas come from and what do they mean. And so uh, now I believe and see what uh, what the prophets have been saying and how the religious books have been changing and how the religions have been changing from the source, uh, and uh, and the struggle, because it is really difficult to understand that concept of oneness. Because why would God do this? Why would God make us suffer? Why would God kill us? And yeah, we know the nature of God by looking around us and seeing that God is the reason for all the good things. And the Prophet Muhammad, that was his namesake. He was grateful. He was the grateful one, and so this is really a special book, a special recitation, a holy scripture, and it's talking about here. It's talking about something that has been going on since the beginning. People have been associating powers to the one God, whether it's a mortal man, like a king, and saying, he's the Sun King, or he's the God King, or to the Messiah, with Jesus, people associating that to God, um, and or being associating the sun, the moon, Venus, anything like that to God, um, and God is in Arabic is Allah, and so this is the one what I've been taught thanks to a Jewish man nicknamed Rindolph. He taught me that the word al in Hebrew means to or towards, and so what I believe is that the word Allah means the force, and so I believe that it is the movement of everything, and it's an eternal thing, eternal being. And so we talked about Muhammad as a messenger from Allah, reciting unto them the pure scriptures. And therein are lasting commandments. And this is interesting here because in this is, without this first one, this would be the third. So here are 3 words, and this is the third ayah, the third um, the third um, the third verse. And so, and those to whom the book was given did not become divided until after clear evidence had come to them. So I was taught that online by people that the Surah Al-Bayyinah, the words from that are used as the title are were chosen from the text, were from this recitation, and afterwards. So here we see that this is the al-bayina, al-bayina, and 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 so yeah, we have here people becoming divided and about the truth, and that's a struggle. That's we want to be together and living in harmony. Yet there is a conflict, and they were not commanded but to serve Allah, being sincere to Him in obedience, and being upright, and observe prayer, and pay the zakat, and that is the religion of the people of the right path. And it was this verse that, while studying online, I saw another two pattern of observe prayer and pay the zakat. And so Jesus in the Gospels taught love God and love neighbor as self. The word zakat, they say, it means to purify, and so people give away things to purify themselves, and this notion of purification seems similar to a thing that I had read about Zoroaster. And there's some words in the Qur'an that have a Persian origin, and so Persia has always been involved in this part of the world, and it's not this separate thing. It's and so that's another connection. And the reason why it says observe prayer, and that's different. Usually it'll say establish prayer. But yeah, certain. So here we see this, the origin of this was the day of prayer on Fridays before the Sabbath. People pray, and so this surah here describes that. Now this is one of the surahs where there are some criticisms of the people of, as you can see here, Adin Huda, Hada, Hadua. And so you see that here there's the deen. The deen is a religion. It's you can see it here. The word deen, the religion of the people of the right path. Deen al-Qayyima. So this is here is criticism, and it seems really morbid. Like, why are they talking about wish for death? Because in here, look at what it says here. But they will never wish for it because of that which their hands have sent on before them. And Allah knows full well those who do wrong. Now, why would someone not wish for it because of what their hands have sent on before them? Usually, we do a lot of things in order to stay alive. Well, that's what we do with our hands in order to, and why we wouldn't wish it. And so, this is referring to the people of Judah. They lived in cities, Jerusalem. So they were doing things to prevent, to grow in wealth, to establish governments, to follow law, to enforce law, to wage war, to control, to do all these things that everyone does today. This is kind of the same thing that all these people have done, yet it's the source of our suffering. And so here, that's the difference of the perspective, and it gets confusing because the way that we remember this history is a very similar way of battles, of wars, of governments, of law, and of control. So it's difficult to discern the original truth, yet remember that in the Gospels, Jesus Christ, he didn't go to war against Rome. And so those are signs that, and the word Muslim, is related to the word peace. So those are signs that what this is all about is not control. It wasn't originally about. It was about control of self. It was about remembrance of God, about serving God and helping others, other people. And so that's what people are doing here. They're praying together. And here at the end, it says, it talks about merchandise, and but it talks about a prayer on Friday. O ye who believe, when the call is made for prayer on Friday, hasten to the remembrance of Allah and leave off all business, and that is better for you if you only knew. I'm doing a video right now, sorry. Your food is ready. Oh. Okay. And so I'll end this here soon. So this is, Muhammad knew about business. I forgot that I had food. I hope it didn't burn. And yes, so then this people, they fled and they went to do business elsewhere, but remembering God and giving to other people. People were growing in wealth. Here, this is the fire, Jahannam. Now, Jahannam is hell, the fire of hell. The word nar is fire and is related to the word nur, which is light. Jahannam is the it's related to the word Gehinnom, the valley of Hinnom that was outside of Jerusalem where they did human sacrifices, and it was a very torturous place. It was north. It was a north face, so it was very dark and gloomy, and there's that whole area is tectonically active. I was taught by Afrocentrists that that all of Palestine and the state of Israel are all on a tectonic fault. So lots of tectonic faults, micro faults, and people got tortured, killed. It was a terrible place. So that's why it's hell. It's torture. And yeah, those who believe and do good works, they are the best of the creatures. Al-Bariyati. Bar, like son in Aramaic. Bar mitzvah is the son of law. It's a metaphor, it's not literal. Same with son of God. The person who taught me that is a member of the Ahmadiyya community, and his name is Azar Goraya. And so yeah, it's a son, it's a creation, it's a creature, and then their word is with their Lord, gardens of eternity through which streams flow, and they will be abide therein forever. Allah is well pleased with them, and they are well pleased with him, and that is him who fears his Lord. Rabba. So here we have, this is after Jesus, when after the rabbinical movement, rabbi is a term that I was taught by a Yiddish teacher that meant great. It's a great teacher. Here it's being used in a much more ancient form to refer to God as our Lord. And yeah, thank you for watching. Peace and blessings be upon you. May God protect and sustain you, and may God guide you to the truth of it. Goodbye.